Okay. Hello and welcome everybody to the final episode of season 1 under Indiana Adoptee Network. My name is Francie Frisbie and usually my platform is Adoption Advocacy Podcast, but the ladies of Indiana Adoptee Network asked me to come here and guest host them tonight. So here we have Pam Dixon Kroskie, Marcie Keithley, and Jennifer Fahlsing. I'd also like to start by thanking everybody who came, and if you could please say hi in the comments and let us know where you are coming from. And so Pam, if you'd like to start and tell us why we are all here and the big announcement.
I'm pregnant. No, I'm kidding. No, that would be really bad. No, this is something we have been wanting to do. We really fast outgrew Indiana Adoptee Network, and we've been contemplating this for quite a while, and we are excited because now we are no longer IAN, we are NAAP. We are the National Association for Adoptees and Parents, and this is so exciting for us because we have wanted to go national for so long. And so now, you know, I mean, it's kind of not been a secret, but now it is really official. And so here we are national now. And we're so glad to be a national organization. And this is kind of our soft launch. Our website is not up yet, but it will be soon. And we cannot wait to show you guys what it looks like because it's gorgeous. But yeah, we are really excited. And we know you guys are going to love it because we are going to offer so much stuff. The old website just did not meet the needs for everyone. So yeah, we're really excited. Yeah.
Okay, great. Marcie, do you want to tell us how you came up with this name?
Well, as Pam said, you know, we knew we outgrew our name rather quickly, and we wanted something that really represented who we were, who we are, and IAN, like I said, we just outgrew that name. So we kicked it around and we wanted to make sure that obviously we wanted to go national. We wanted to be all the states to be included and actually internationally as well. But we wanted to make sure that all the constellation was represented. And we left the qualifiers off of parents because it was just much simpler that way. So it's adoptees and parents. So this way, all of the constellation is represented, and it signifies that we are here for the nation. So that's what we came up with.
And so you guys have had Indiana Adoptee Network for several years. It's outgrown itself every year. You have grown bigger and bigger to conferences that need bigger spaces. I think everyone would love to hear about your guys' beginnings in this and kind of how it's grown and what you see for in the future. So Jennifer, do you want to tell us how you got started with this work and how you met these ladies and what your driving passion is behind all this?
Absolutely. You know, Pam and Marcie have been doing this much longer than me. Pam, the longest of all of us. But these two ladies, they had their own thing going. Both met at, what was the event in Kentucky that you met at? I don't know that.
National, the Senate or the representatives, they meet for, you know, I don't know, I forget what it's even called myself, but yeah.
It was the event that I was hosting for the adoption weekend.
It was also the march, and there was 2 or 3 things. Yeah, there was a bunch of things going on that weekend, but Marcie was hosting a thing also. Yeah.
And Adam Pertman was coming, and he introduced me to Pam in 2009.
Yeah.
So everybody came down to Louisville.
Adopt the night.
Yeah. So those two met. They realized that they had a common goal. So they joined forces, and that's where they formed Hoosiers for Equal Access to Records. So that was our legislative nonprofit. They had been into that well, a couple years, and I'm an adoptee going, how in the heck do I get my records? And, you know, I'm Googling, and this state's website is like a nightmare. You can't quite figure it out. And then I'm like, Hoosiers Free Access to Records. What's this? So I sent them a message, and the next thing I know, I'm down in Indianapolis with them, meeting them in a hotel room for the first time, and we're going to testify the next day. So we had successful legislation in 2016, and based on that, we realized that there's really a lack of education, and not only just with legislators, but the population in general, and then within our own community. I didn't know how to find my records, and how we're saying, hey, you're going to have access to your records. These people are going to be completely lost. So that's why we had decided to form Indiana Adoptee Network. We were serving Indiana adoptees, helping them get their original records. And part of that then was a conference, and we get people from Indiana and we help them regularly, but it immediately was beyond the scope of Indiana. And the first year we had, you know, like 13 different states here. Now we get people from, you know, Argentina and Canada, and they just come from all over to our conferences. So obviously, you know, the name didn't fit anymore. And it's been a year-long process of trying to decide what the next version of our organization looks like. So it's been steady progress and growth, and we've had a good time all learning from one another, and what our strengths are and how we can best move things forward. Marcie is the visionary. So,
Marcie, what's this journey been like for you, starting out and forming IAN and now NAAP?
Well, it's been really exciting. You know, like I said, you know, Pam and I started way back in 2009. And after legislation, I mean, she came up with IAN. It was her idea to have a post-educational resource, and we just kind of built it out from there. But again, you know, not to beat a dead horse, it just immediately became something else. And we, you know, contemplated what we wanted to be and where we wanted to go and how we wanted to grow it. But the vision was to have more of a universal platform too, where everybody had a voice and we could all learn from one another. And we could also join forces and promote other organizations and connect. We all need to unify and come together. So the vision that I have is to see more of that, see more of us come together in the community, support one another, and you know, have a joint force. So we also came up with, we have a senior advisory council that was handpicked by all of us from some of the experts in the field that we'll be sharing more of. I think Joyce is with us tonight. She's one of them. Pam, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, you know, I think it's important that it's not just us three, you know, with the ideas. You know, you don't grow with the same thoughts all the time, the same three people. Mm-hmm. So I think we've picked some pretty amazing people for our advisory committee. And I really think that's what you do. You go outside your circle and you pick those people that you admire, that, you know, you've worked with, that you've been with, that you've spent time with. And we've got some pretty amazing people on our committee. And, you know, like Marcie said, I mean, you know, our vision is to grow, and you can't grow with just sticking with this small circle. So going national and having this committee, and there's just no end to this. I think it's just going to get bigger. And yeah, we're pretty excited about this committee to help us. And I think I see us having other committees too. This is just one committee. So, yeah.
So part of your growth has been these conferences. You know, you had your first around Indiana, your second one, more people came from everywhere. What are you guys planning for conferences? Obviously, with COVID, things are shut down, but what are you guys thinking about conferences in the future? Will they remain in Indiana? I know I saw someone ask that as well. Or what do you guys have planned for the future?
Yeah, I don't know. I think right now, COVID's got everything on lockdown. We are thinking about right now, it'll probably be an online conference at this point. But, we've talked about, doing a conference somewhere else. I could see us doing that, especially now that we're national. I think the reason we've kept it in Indiana is that it has some consistency. People know where to come. They know where we are, and that's just been how we've done it. But who knows what the future will bring? You never know.
Absolutely. And Marcie, you were talking about how IAN was about unifying adoption, and that's been one of your main goals in creating NAP and the development of a new website, greater place for resources. I know you've discussed that this organization is not membership based. It's, people all coming together, and you have many ideas about how you want to go about that. Do you want to share some of those?
Sure. Well, one of them obviously has already kicked off, but that was not without help. And I'd like to talk about that just for a second. And that's these happy hours. After our conference was canceled due to COVID, Pam and Jennifer and I talked about how ways that we could all stay connected. And, we all look forward to that conference. That would have been our fourth one, and everybody was looking forward to it. And I knew I wanted to do a Zoom call, but I didn't know exactly what to do and how to frame it. So I called on a committee that I formed of some, most of you are here tonight. I'll just go ahead and call you out, that helped me. It was David Bowl, Lynn Grubb, Lorraine Pittman, Rich Erlog, and Paige Strickland. And we all got together, and it was the team that came up with the name and picked the Friday night location. And they started with themselves. I think Paige and, Lorraine and Lynn went first, and it went from there. But, initially we thought this was just going to be something that we were just going to do for a little while. And then it just kind of morphed into this thing that, everybody seems to enjoy them, and they want to see more of them. So we just this is our 37th episode. We've had some amazing guests on, and we've got some really, we're booked up till March the 1st, by the way, guys, March the 1st. We've got some amazing ones. We're doing one on DNA coming up. We've also got Gabrielle Glazer. She's that author of the new book that just came out on the 26th, American Baby. So we're going to have her on the 29th. So we're doing Women of Color in February. So we've got some amazing guests coming up in February. So the happy hours we're really proud of those. The other thing that we'll be doing is David Bowl, and supported by also Zara Phillips, will be doing a bi-monthly call. And David, you're here, right?
I am, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
You want to share a little bit about
Sure, I talk a little bit.
What we're doing.
Yeah, well, thank you. NAAP has asked that we begin a bi-weekly Adoptee Paths to Recovery meeting to support individuals, adoptees particularly, but also others in the constellation who are experiencing or have had some experiences with people in addiction or recovery. And ultimately, we've called it Adoptee Paths to Recovery, and that is to honor all adoptee routes to recovery, whatever they may be, acknowledging that each person's path is unique and it reflects each person's unique experiences and strengths, something very important in the adoptee community. And they'll be facilitated by a professional. I am a professional, and I also have some lived experience as an adoptee and in recovery. Zara can speak for herself, but she also has some lived experience and has been talking about this longer than I have in the adoptee community. And we're ultimately going to talk about ways that people can initiate and maintain healthy choices and lead a recovery lifestyle. And of course, family and friends are welcome to attend. We'll have more information when the hard launch of the organization comes. There will be probably a published piece and a little bit of video, but in the meantime, please feel free to share. This is a much needed resource in our community. I'm honored that I'm a part of it.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So I know you guys also discussed that you kind of wanted NAP to look like a home base for the adoption community with a calendar where you'll be sharing events not only from your own, but from others. Do you want to tell us about that a little bit, Jennifer?
Sorry, I was answering a question.
Sorry.
Maureen distracted me. What can I say? Can you please repeat the question?
So what you guys are thinking for NAP is that it's a central kind of scheduling. You have a calendar and you not only promote your own adoption events, but you promote others and bring together resources in a calendar for other events and make sure, you know, we all have an equal opportunity to go to events and that they aren't clashing with each other. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, when we say building unity in our community, that doesn't just mean the people that are here tonight or who have been to our events, but that means other organizations. You know, I want to be able to promote these other organizations, and we want to be the resource. You can come to our page, and if we don't have the information you're looking for, we will be able to point you in the direction of where you can go and get this. You know, Rich Orlop's got a conference coming up that's going to be great. You know, Adoption Network Cleveland, they've got a This Is Us round 2 discussion going tonight. There's a lot of things going on in the community. So we want to have this event calendar, and you can pick and choose when you have time available, what's the right fit for you. You know, if you're looking for an adoption competent therapist, you know, we're going to have lists of those people available, people that we know, people that we can recommend, and we feel that you will be in good hands with. We feel like, you know, if you need addiction support, you know, we have David, we have Zara, we have other people in our community that we feel confident that we can trust, you know, everyone's well-being in those people's care. So, I mean, it's really, you know, we kind of have our, you know, our mantra is, you know, educate, elevate, and empower. And so that goes to everyone. You know, if you're coming in and you're looking for resources because, you know, you are a late discovery adoptee, you know, we will have that, but we personally know people who are late discovery adoptees that we can connect you with, because it's very, very important that you find your tribe. And we want to be here to help people find where they fit in and feel at home.
Great. And how can people help you guys? Now you're growing, you're becoming national. In what ways can people reach out and help you guys do this?
Well, right now, I think we're kind of at this standstill, but I think once we get going, I think people can, you know, email us and, you know, let us know things that they would like to do. One thing that we haven't mentioned too is we're going to have a children's corner. So for adoptive parents, foster parents and things like that, that's something that hasn't been mentioned. But yeah, anybody who, you know, wants to help, you know, tell us, you know, let us know. But yeah, there's going to be plenty of opportunities. You know, another thing we didn't mention, you know, we have yoga too. We have, I mean, there's so many opportunities for growth for the mental health, the physical health. We're really trying to, I think, look at all parts of us, because, you know, there's a lot to us, not just one side. But yeah, definitely, if you feel like, you know, you want to do something with us, send us an email. I think most everybody on here knows us.
Mhm.
But you know, don't be scared. Send us an email and let us know. But we'll be reaching out to a lot of people. This is just the tip of the iceberg right now. So if we haven't reached out to you, reach out to us, and I'm sure we'll find something for everyone at this point.
And to Jen's question, yeah, we do have links. I mean, the person designing our website, she's like, oh my word, you have so many resources.
Oh my gosh.
I spent weekends getting every link to everything. So yes, you can one click and be somewhere.
Yes.
And if you have an event, let us know and we'll get it on the calendar.
Well, and I think something bouncing off of what Jen said, it's about time that we all come together and stop being a one-page thing that is just your stuff. We really are trying to support everyone. I mean, we're going to miss some things. I mean, we're not going to have everything, but we're trying our best to support everybody, and be as, linked to everything as we can, and, support everyone as much as we can.
So maybe we do have Paige lead an adoptee cooking channel. So
yeah, there you go. I don't know. We have a live cooking channel for adoptees.
Great.
And
or pet advice. That's the other one, because Sushi here, she's made a couple of appearances already.
That's right. That's right. Sushi needs to lead a pet page,
When you adopt a pet.
There you go. What happens?
Yeah.
Lorraine will help Paige, she said. So.
And two, I think, I know that Marcie and I have had this conversation in the past, and talking to Rich and Vin, those guys already have great things going for male adoptees. I've got the Male Adoptee Summit. Rich has got, or Vin's got the Gentlemen's Club. We don't need to duplicate somebody else's efforts that are successful. We're looking to fill the voids in what is not being provided to our community. And all ideas are welcome. Send them my way.
Great. I'm sure you'd appreciate people sending you their, resources, or, people, if you're a late discovery adoptee or you have something about yourself, that you guys can link as a resource when people contact you. I know that's always so helpful. So what can we look forward to coming up in the near future with NAP? Marcie?
Well, like I shared with you, we've got some exciting happy hour calls coming up. And our conference is scheduled for May 21st and 22nd. Well, this thing is pretty fluid right now as far as planning out, but we will be having more activities. The newsletter, we have a newsletter that we'll be sending out quarterly. I've asked Lynn Grubb and Lorraine Pittman, as well as Paige Strickland, to be participants in that. So they'll be writing. Paige has agreed to help me out on author interviews. We're going to start taking some of the books that have been written and do reviews and share those in the newsletter. And Paige has done an excellent job on reviews. So we'll be doing that in the future. That'll be new. But we want you to think of NAP as this is your organization for adoptees, for parents. You come to us when you need something. If whatever resource that it is, if you have a suggestion, if you have an idea, if you want to have a Zoom call on our platform, perhaps, just like David's doing, we want to hear your ideas. It's for you. So Pam and I, with the Frankie's Kids Corner that she was talking about, we want to build that out. So we don't even know where that's going right now. We're working on a video. Bob and Suzanne are here this evening. We have, Pam and I wrote a little script for one of the characters that we developed in the book that we co-wrote, called Frankie and Friends Talk Adoption. And Bob has graciously accepted to be the voice of Frankie. So that will be coming up, and we'll be putting that video out soon. So, isn't that right, Bob?
Bob's hiding.
Where'd he go?
Yep.
So, yeah, meet Frankie.
Well, we're actually working on a second book too. That's,
Oh yeah, you want to share what we're doing with that? That's exciting.
yeah, it's exciting news. Marcie and I are actually writing a second Frankie book with Nancy Verrier. So yeah, we're very excited. So hold tight. It's in the works.
So, yep.
Yeah.
Great. So anything that else that we haven't covered or anything?
Yes, we want to talk about Friday. We wanted to have just a little bit of a celebration for our name change. And this Friday, the 15th, from 1 to 3, we will have on our Facebook page, on social media, we will be doing some live videos. We'll do some blog posts from several individuals, memes. There'll just be a combination of different things throughout the day. We do have a surprise guest. I'm just going to leave it at that. We're going to have some fun on Friday. And then it will culminate that evening on the happy hour. We'll have the Good Adoptee. So everybody can join us this Friday from 1 to 3. If you want to come in and give us a shout out or whatever, just see what's going on. And then make sure that you're registered for the Good Adoptee Friday night. So we would love to have you with us. We're going to have a panel discussion afterwards. And if you haven't seen it, you definitely don't want to miss it. And if you have seen it before, you definitely want to watch it, see it again. Suzanne, you have some comments?
Sorry, we put you on our TV because it's too exciting. This is
That's
just
okay.
such big news. It can't be contained in our computer. We are so thrilled to be part of the celebration of this exciting and incredible launch. We are very honored to be kicking it off with the Good Adoptee.
So looking forward to
that
it.
evening, or continuing the kickoff, I should say.
Yes.
So
Thank you both.
and it's going to be our first show of the new year.
Yeah.
So
Yay.
so that is very fitting.
Yeah, that will be the first happy hour with the new logo, with the new name this Friday. So we hope you'll all join, all of us. Yeah, we're really excited about this. Yay.
Yay.
Great. Do you guys want to wrap up with telling us, what do you guys hope for the future of NAP? What would you love to see happen? You want to start, Pam?
Well, I hope that you guys will be excited when you see the website, that you just are blown away at all the work we've done, because we three, Jennifer's done a ton of tech work. So has our web person. We really put a lot of thought into this. I mean, we just, it's just been like literally having a baby. I mean, it's been such a little thing of work for us, and we just hope that you guys are excited when you see it. And I think it's always evolving, I'm sure, but we really hope you guys love it. I think that's the biggest thing, and that you don't go, oh, that's it. No, we hope you really just love it, and that you enjoy it, and that it meets a lot of your needs. And we're just excited. We're really excited for you guys to get to see our culmination of everything.
All right, Jennifer, what are you hoping for the future of NAP?
I think there is so much possibility for us. I mean, we talked about a few things tonight, but there are these voids in our community where we could provide resources, or we can connect people with resources. I would like to see us have something like what David's going to do for us. more of like a suicide prevention type resource that we have where people can get together and talk privately. I think that's something that's very needed in our community. I think we need to be, a safe space for the LGBTQIA community, that we can explore opportunities of how can we best serve the foster youth community? What can we do to help those that are aging out of foster care? And then, in our area of the country, Native American adoptees. There's some resources that we have that's kind of hard to come by, but, definitely try and do something for that. But like I said, not putting qualifiers on it. If you fit into this constellation somehow, you're welcome here. I mean, there's always going to be adoption, no matter how we feel about it, but we can do what we can do to have resources and help adoptive parents, help the littlest adoptees with books like Pam and Marcie wrote and Sherry Eldridge's books. There's just tons of resources. So I just think it's just full of possibility, and it just is going to depend on where we see the need, and what people bring to us is something that they feel is important.
How about you, Marcie? What do you hope for the future of NAP?
2 things. Unification is one. I think we all just need to come together. Our communities need to be, we just need to join hands and work together. And this inner fighting and competition, it's just not necessary. We're all here for the same reason. And that's number one. That's what I would like to see. The second thing really is the children, the little ones that are being adopted. And that's why Pam and I came up with Frankie's Kids Corner. We have to reach the adoptive parents if we're going to change the future of adoption. And it's going to take everyone here, all of our efforts to do that. So we're hoping that NAP will be a big part of that.
Great. And do we open it up for questions or?
Sure.
Does anybody have any questions or?
This is Kevin. Hey guys, great.
Hey, Kevin.
Great success. What I just feel like I'm going to be able to, tell my great grandchildren or something that I was here when this happened. It's such a great, wonderful moment. And to be here before, during, and after is always just, an honor. I'm gonna have to wrap my lips around the saying nap. I just feel like I gotta tuck myself in for a nap. But nap. What's the focus going to? I'm just curious. What will the focus be? Because I love the focus that you started with, of course, 4 years ago or before that was, really on the legislation. And I am curious about maybe in the foster systems, is there going to be a segment that you're going to want to focus on regarding foster care system as opposed to just adoption? And do you have any, ideas for that and bringing in maybe professionals to speak on that part of the dynamic? Is that a fair question?
We are definitely not the smartest people in the room. No, I've never been in foster care. I don't know much about foster care, but we do know people that are foster alum. We know people who work with foster youth. I know a senator here in our state that was adopted from foster care, and he does a lot of foster care legislation. We would definitely defer to experts because I don't think that's any of our strong suits here.
It's where a whole lot of primary adoptions seem to stem from, especially at this time in our culture. Yep. I was just talking to a professor who is a JD. So he's a JD and a MSW, and he's the head of a department at a university of social work. And his focus is fostering and foster care and the legislation. So I'd be interested in maybe introducing him to you folks, because I think I just didn't know if the website or any of the resources or how you might be able to fit that into this kind of picture because now you're going national.
I know when we testified, more than like, I think 74% of adoptees or adoptions were out of foster care. So that was from Adam Pertman. And actually, we are actually introducing a bill here in Indiana. We're trying to do some cleaning up of our bill. So I mean, it'll, who knows what'll happen with it, but we're still doing some Indiana stuff on our own, but we haven't stopped, doing that portion. So we're still mucking around in the Indiana portion of that, but yeah, so.
Great. Yeah, just curious because I hadn't heard too much during the call on it, and I've always thought of it as being a really, like you said, 70% is a big number.
Yeah.
Many of us as adoptees were, adopted, and as you know, my story in the foster care system, out of the foster care system, it's just such a piece of the puzzle.
It is
great.
Well, and a lot of adoptees go to foster care for even, weeks, months before they actually get adopted. So, papers don't get signed or whatever. So infants spend time there before the adoption happens. There's a lag there, a lot. So, yeah.
And we've talked about the foster care program too. And like Jen said, we do know people that specialize that we can call on. And this thing being so fluid and just starting, that's something, we have it in our resources, but we want to build that out. So we appreciate that question, and send us the name.
Yeah, I will. I'll talk. Everyone's so busy. It took me almost 2 months to get on his calendar, and we just had a nice 2-hour meeting, but I'll be hopefully doing some work with him. So I told him directly about you guys just the other day. So I'm excited about, yeah. Made a big mention. Cool. Thanks, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I have to run away. So I just wanted to say, this is so exciting. And you guys have put in, I know a little bit about how much work you put into this because we've had some conversations, and congratulations for getting it off the ground. And I'm happy to be involved in any way. And Kevin, I was on the board of the Child Welfare League of America for many years and worked with foster care and foster adoptions. And one of the things we used to tell people that I think is important is that all adoptions are foster care until the adoption is finalized. So I don't think many people in private adoption realize that there was a period of time where they were wards of the state or wards of their birth parent. I mean, until the adoption is finalized, they are not adopted. And I think that's an important thing in terms of leveling the playing field and understanding how we're all connected to this.
Right.
So good luck. And I'm going to try to drop in on Friday.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joyce.
Thanks, Joyce. Oh, I think Keith has his hand up.
Yeah, thank you. It's more of like maybe a couple of comments. Maybe I'll have a question in mind also. But so I said that you guys are going to reach a lot more people with the name change. I've shared the organization, the name itself with a few people, and I've told them about the calls that we have on Friday nights. And the first question is like, oh, do I have to be an Indiana adoptee?
Right.
That's what a lot of people assume. So it's going to do wonders, I think, for you guys. And there's just a lot of people to reach out there. I mean, we all know about the Facebook community that we've all been connected with for years, but Instagram is like really taken off with a lot of these young people, like in their 20s. I know, us 30 plus, 40 plus here and beyond. But yeah, I'm telling you, there's just a lot of people to reach out there. So, and I'm always thankful to just be connected to you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Keith.
Yep. Sure.
And Keith, and I appreciate you are a great person. You have supported us, and we appreciate hearing your point of view. And you share a lot, and you share your heart on Facebook, and I appreciate everything that you do.
Agreed.
Anybody else?
I do see a question about the Good Adoptee. We do not have the Eventbrite link out for that yet. We will get it out tomorrow, correct, Marcie?
That's right.
And that you will get an email saying you're available to register for that, because we are capped to, I believe, 100 in the Zoom room. So
Yeah, we don't like to put out 2 calls at the same time to avoid confusion. So we want to wait till this one's over and then we'll put out the new link. But if you guys have noticed, the ID numbers are the same and
It's
the
always,
password is
yeah,
the same.
always the same.
So you might want to just write that down and you won't have any trouble getting in. But remember, you still have to be registered on Eventbrite. Oh, yes. Yes, it's good news, isn't it? Yeah. So anyway, we wanted to let you know that too.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else?
Maureen?
I just want to say that I think this is really great because as a lot of you know, Marcie, Jennifer, probably Pam, and I came to the conference, the last live one we had in Indiana from California, very nervous and very scared that this was not a place for me, and didn't have anywhere to really go in California to express what I felt as an adoptee. And I had just written my book and felt like I was this big. And so I felt immediately at home there at the conference and met so many wonderful people, Francie included, and so many of you today here. And I felt that this was much bigger than just Indiana. So for me, this is really wonderful. And I feel like I've been telling other adoptees in California, I know a few, you know, you guys, I've had a couple people join some of the happy hours, and, you know, I feel like I found my tribe. I can talk to you guys about anything, and it's wonderful. And I can listen to what all of you have to say and feel like I get it. So this is a bright spot for me, you going to the national level and changing the name. And so congratulations. I love it.
Thank you. And we appreciate you.
Yeah, we do a lot.
And the other thing, I'm just so impressed with the amount of international support that we have as well. I don't know if anybody's, well, is Leslie in tonight? Yeah. You know, we've had attendees from just, I mean, like I said, South America, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, Germany, the UK, Japan, Canada. So, I mean, this is the reach is vast, and I mean, that's the power of social media and power of what we've been forced to learn to do over, you know, the past year. But it doesn't matter where you are, we can still connect with somebody that understands and can help us when we need something. So I think that that's a great thing.
You know, there's one other thing to mention, Lorene, if you want to take yourself off mute, I want to mention, because you're part of this, we talked about, is the teenagers. You know, we talked about that, reaching out to the teenagers. And what do you guys think about this? Because we talked about, especially at conference time, having mentors. You want to talk a little bit about that, Lorene, about how we're going to work with teenagers in the future? You know, like writing some articles on that. Yeah.
I think that's important, but I also think it's a very tricky thing to do, because if you invite teenagers on their own to come into the fold and discuss their issues, they're not of age. And how do you do that? I'd like to be able to do it by bringing in their adoptive parents. I know several adoptive parents that would be interested in that, but I think there are probably more that are not. And I would love to have some input from others on how to approach that kind of a thing. The newsletter is one. I mean, I think that we wrote the very last Indiana Adoptee Network newsletter, and in my article I included some information for adoptive parents as well, and how to deal with the COVID issues that might be affecting maybe older adoptees. But it's kind of a tricky subject, and I was full bore thinking I'm going to write about this, and now I've kind of stepped back thinking, how do you do that? It's a very delicate situation because of parents and the fact that they're underage. So I would love to hear more from this group or anybody else who has ideas about that.
Great, thank you.
I think that's always been something, that we've thought about, and doing some kind of mentoring program. That's always been on our mind. We've just never executed it, but we've always thought about that. It's just never been, we just couldn't figure out how to do it.
Right, I think it's tricky. So
it is
very
tricky.
Yeah, how do you do it?
I know.
I mean, I think a newsletter might be through the newsletter might be a good thing, because you can address the adoptive parents, and if there are issues, I would hope at this point. I mean, not when I was growing up, but I think adoptive parents now are much more. I hate to use the word woke, but you know what I mean. I mean, they maybe they would welcome this more and allow their teens into the fold without fear. Maybe.
Leslie McKinnon used to do a mentoring thing where it was adoptees, and then younger. They were, I think, 8 or 9. It was a very successful one, but they weren't teenagers. They were younger, and it wasn't really sitting down and like discussing things. They went to like the zoo and things came up, and it was this very casual thing, and it worked really well, but it never got duplicated, but it was really successful. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think we should move forward with something like that. It's going to be a real matter of planning and kind of a delicate situation, but yeah, I need some help with that. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Lynn, you got a question? You have your hand up.
I have a comment. When I was starting my kinship support group here in Dayton, Jeanette Yoff, which somebody posted about in the comments, was a mentor to me, and she's out in California. And I know she has lots of support groups. She's even been on TV with Oprah.
Yes.
She's a really good resource to talk to. And I'm a parent of a 16-year-old adoptee. And I can tell you, you have to meet them where they are. And someone mentioned TikTok. My daughter's not on TikTok, as far as I know, unless she's doing it behind my back. But they like memes, and they like Instagram, and they like different stuff than what what we do. They think Facebook is a joke.
Right.
I think we have to meet them where they are.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that is exactly. I mean, my daughter is limited on her social media, but I think someone like Jeanette or someone who's trained as a therapist would be really a great person to start something that relates to teens, because they're trained clinically.
Yeah, she's got a lot of great ideas.
She helped me. She spent a lot of time with me.
She's close by. I can reach out to her and maybe we can get something started.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of bags of tricks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rich just made a comment, and I think it's really well posted. It says, "Be sure you have a big insurance policy. It's a cool idea, huge potential liability," and I think that's really keen to just say that out loud. Is that and I think a couple of things is too. It's nice when I think I'm on a board, and I've been on boards before. And one of the things I always say to the board is, I know there's a lot of things we could do. I think it's great that we do a few things well, then try to do a lot of things and, spread ourselves a little too thin. And I think Paige just said, because they are kids and not adults. And it's I think it's great that we have now started our focus and it's on adults. And, I think that we can go real broad, but will we lose our focus? It's always a risk. And I know this is, maybe not a place
Well,
to.
exactly. I think you're right, Kevin. That's what I said. We really need to tread lightly because of that.
Yeah.
And that's why we have a senior
Right.
advisory council too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah, I'm excited by that. I'm excited by that idea. Yeah.
We know, I mean, like I said, we're three women and we know our strengths, we know our weaknesses, and
Right.
we want to leverage that. And
Yeah.
we know what we need to delegate and when we need to pull in professionals. So
And see, now we do have like Brooke, who's a therapist, that she comes to our conference and she brings her son. And I mean, we sometimes go, "Ooh, is this a good idea?" when he sits in on Rich's male adoptee. And but you know, she's the mom. She brought him, and everybody seems to enjoy his presence there. And I think you know, he gets something from it even at his young age. So.
You know, I think too, when we get back to quote unquote norm and we have the ability to have conferences, that would be a great probably place to start to introduce, you know, like having, you know, part of that, having events that would be particular for parents and bringing their children, you know, so parents and their children come and register. And that'd be great. That, you know,
that was our initial goal, is to have parents with their children.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of times with I know we're going down rabbit holes on this one, but we all have experiences with it. But a lot of times, you know, you get the kid and then you got two parents and the parents are not on the same page at all, right? I've got a neighbor, literally, I could walk out the door. I'm pointing at them. They're right there, right next to me. And, you know, dad says, you know, we're just going to bury his head in the sand. And mom wants to talk to me every time I walk out to rake the leaves. You know what I mean? And it's much more complex. So sure.
Yeah.
I know Pam kind of mentioned a little bit on yoga, but also any artists. You know, we've had art shows at our conferences before. You know, we've had music. So anything along those lines too. I mean, bring it on. Adoptees are unique in the way they express themselves through art as well. So it's always fun to look at somebody else's art or listen to their music. Marcie, were you talking about trying to get Mary on? Or
yeah. Mary Gaucher has got a book coming out that I'm going to try and get her on a happy hour. So most of you know that she's been around for quite some time. She's a musician and now she's got a book coming out. So I will be reaching out to her as well.
Can I ask a question? This is Diego, sorry.
That's all right, yeah.
If you can hear me. Is the objective of this, your group now, to remain a nonprofit and everything you do is nonprofit free of charge? Or are you, if that is the case, is there the desire to be the resource to push out to other organizations or adoptees that are in the, you know, doing things from a professional standpoint, like therapists or let's see, I saw the mention of Adoption Mosaic in the Northwest and April's organization and other places for situations where adoptees are actually putting in some effort to make a living in it. And the reason I say this is because I think that we oftentimes are resourcing ourselves free of charge for a lot of things. And my personal belief is adoptive parents should be paying for a whole lot of resources for their adoptees, whether it be therapy, whether it be mentoring, whether it be workshops, training, things of that sort. So I'm just wondering if that is something that the group is open to, in that to support other people. I think the only avenue that I see that actively happening is when people put a memoir out. And there's a lot of promotion for the memoir, and obviously the adoptee gets the financial support through that. But there's a lot of other avenues that adoptees are trying to do some good work and also trying to make a living doing it as well. So just some thoughts on that.
I was going to say, Pam and Marcie, I mean, you should talk about, I mean, we're going to be a nonprofit, but talk about what you do with the proceeds from Frankie and Friends
Yeah.
as an example.
Yeah, Frankie and Friends, the children's book, all the proceeds go back into the organization. We don't take $1 off of that. So.
No.
Yeah. And future books, the same way, the book with Nancy Verrier, it all goes back into the organization.
We've never taken a dime. All of our money goes right back into the organization.
Yeah, we're a
anything we've made,
501c3 public charity.
we've never taken a dime. So.
Yeah, and I think it's great that your situation for that, and that's the decision you've made, which is great, and I love that.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say, and I mean, I would love to take the money, but I think that's the decision we made only because we wanted the organization to grow. But I think that as, like, let's say it was your book, I think you should take the funds from it. We just made that decision because we were looking at the book and made that decision. Because one, we felt that was the best decision. Just because. But I think that artists, if let's say it's Zara or someone else, if you're making money, that's okay. I mean, we should make money, I mean, as individuals, if we do something. So, I think that's perfectly fine. I mean, we just together decided that, because something needed to go back into the organization. And that was just, that was just so the organization could have something as a supplement, So.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I think if, in looking at the mentoring program, if you're going down that road, why not, even if it's through NAP, why not set it up so it's fee-based to the adoptive parents if you're going to be mentoring teens, and put that money back into the organization so that you all can continue to grow and develop.
Yeah, that's an idea. Yeah.
And there will be a charge, for conferences, but, we're not going to charge for, David leading, the adoptee path to recovery meetings. I mean, heaven forbid that something happened to somebody because money was a barrier. I mean, how could we live with ourselves? The adoption happy hours, we've not charged anything for those. There are costs associated for us doing these, but we try and give as much as we can. And then, that one time a year, we have an event that we say, hey, if everybody can, pay a little bit to come to that, or, we do fundraisers on, social media. We're always open to donations, and we will be gladly give you a receipt for your tax deductible donation at any time. But I mean, we're kind of the PBS model. We will take donations in exchange for free programming.
Yeah.
It's funny you say the PBS model, because the PBS model is also partially funded, not just by donations, right? They're funded by taxpayers, and there's a real I think understanding that as this group grows, I want to say we grow because I feel like we're all here just chatting about what we're doing, but as this group grows from what it was to what it is now to what it's going to become with the word national in it, that may really change in your fundraising mission and your fundraising prowess. I could see it growing exponentially. And if that happens, then, that would be a miracle in some ways, but that's going to probably need a lot of discernment to figure out what to do with more money changes things. It just does. It's almost nice to be small and not have much. It really is, because then you don't fuss too often. And so just as an idea, just that, I could see a fundraising arm of the group, and that would be a really good thing to probably prepare for, even if it doesn't happen. And so, yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah. Right now, we are taxpayer funded. The taxpayers are Pam, Marcie, and Jennifer.
You pay taxes, you guys? Wait. Oh, sorry. Another time.
Yeah.
Yeah, begrudgingly.
Hey, real quick, I just wanted to say something. Getting back to that mentoring idea, I just wanted to tell you about something that I heard about. Because I believe it's Diego was talking about the adoptive parents should compensate for some of this stuff. I was reached out to by a very, very small adoption agency in Florida. Like my Instagram posts got through to the director in a way. And she is actually changing what their agency does. They want it to be more of a resource center than facilitating adoptions. She told me it was like, it should be the very last option, and they want to make sure everything they do is not coercive and it's 100% ethical, and that it's 100% the mom's choice, and that they present her with every resource available. They have an adoptee that they pay, and he facilitates a support group, a mentoring group for adoptees, for transracial adoptees that were adopted through their agency, which I think is a really interesting model. It's like once a month, and they get together on Zoom meetings, and like the parents have one where they can come in and talk to him and ask questions about what their kids might be going through and things like that. It's really, I think it's an interesting model, where the agency is paying for it. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thanks, Jen. Okay. Francie,
Val?
do you have any last minute questions before we close?
No, is there anything anybody else wants to add? I want to thank everybody for coming here today. It was great seeing everybody and seeing some familiar faces, and I really appreciate it. If you want to find me, you can find me online, Francie Frisbie Wehmeyer. Also, my podcast is Adoption Advocacy Podcast. I'd like to check it out, and thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Everybody, we hope to see you on Friday afternoon, and make sure you join us for the happy hour Friday evening. We appreciate all of you.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Send your suggestions.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
Night. See ya.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course.
Oh, look at that. We got doggy congratulations. I love it.
Of course. I was worried. I was afraid Murphy would.
Me too.
She did good. She did good. Okay. Francie, you did a great job.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
No, I thought it was good.
You guys, it went really well.
Yeah, I thought so too.
You guys did awesome. Both of you.
I just sat there.
No, it went really well, and I think it's great, and I'm pleased. Aren't you pleased?
Yeah, I think it went well. I thought my pregnancy thing went over well.
I was like,
oh, it is like a pregnancy.
About?
I thought it was kind of like a pregnancy. I mean, we really labored over it for a long time.